This is awesome.
Oh, Clark, hey. Good to see you among the living, man. Check it out. It's the latest talent mix.
Thanks, Pete.
Good to see you all among the living. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talon Mix. It's a Smallville recap podcast where me and my buddy Zach, who we watched Smallville together in college, and now we're in our 30s, watching it together again. I'm Brian. Zach's here. I'm out of practice. We haven't recorded in a little while. That was a mess. That was terrible. That was awful.
No, but it wasn't that bad, but we're just going to keep it because
we're just going to keep it.
The people need to know. People need to know.
That's it. Everybody. I don't even have anything there. I started talking and I didn't have anything.
This is so bad. Maybe
this is so bad.
This is
No. Now I think we leave it. Now I especially think we leave it. I think it's charming. It's
we watched an episode of Smallville this week that is a knockoff of the movie, like a blatant knockoff of the movie Flatliners. And
it's just Flatliners.
Right. And it's fitting because Flatline is what I did while watching this episode.
Beautiful. It's wild how I'm not even like judging. I'm not mad at it, but it's wild how someone just came into the office and was like, we're doing Flatliners this week. That's just what we're doing. Right, Flatliners, but an episode of Smallville, please and thank you. And it's not we were talking like, how many episodes do you think are just movie knockoffs? There's a lot.
A lot, but there's like, if you just go on inspired by movies, it's a high percentage. Slightly less is like blatant knockoffs. This is blatant. This is as blatant as it gets. This is like, we're just doing Flatliners.
Right.
This is the plot of a movie.
This is as bad as like the show that comes to mind is always The Goldbergs, which I've never seen an episode of, but I remember the ads always being like, it's the Hunger Games episode of The Goldbergs.
Oh, jeez.
I feel like the ads here are just like, we're fucking the Flatliners, huh?
It's similar to Community when they would do episodes kind of spoofing movies.
Yes.
Except for that's a comedy. This is like not a spoof. Yeah, this is just, we're doing that. We're doing that episode, but it's kryptonite and it's boring. I've never seen Flatliners. Have you seen
it's
Flatliners?
Good. It's good.
Oh,
it's a fun time. It's not Flatliners is a 1989-ish. Joel Schumacher film, might be early 90s. Kiefer Sutherland, Emilio Estevez. Am I making that up? Who's in Flatliners? It's pretty stacked.
20-something actors of the time.
Kiefer Sutherland, Kevin Bacon, Julia Roberts, William Baldwin, Oliver Platt. It's fun in that you can see how Joel Schumacher got Batman from this. It's a moody gothic hospital. All the streets are like windswept or fog swept. There's neon everywhere. It's like, yeah, this guy, it feels like a Tim Burton Batman a little more grounded than that movie was, but you can put them together. Like, this guy could do Batman.
And then they remade it a few years back, and I haven't seen that either, but I heard it was abysmal.
That is what I've heard. Is it a full remake, or is it one of those like remake sequels, like The Thing, where they just also called it the same thing?
From what I remember, it was like, oh no, this is the exact same thing. Why are we doing this?
Got it.
Flatliners, 2017.
Bad year. Just because Flatliners was here. Also, you know what? Not a great year. Just not a great year, I think, overall, 2017.
Oh, no. Wait, you might be right, because Kiefer Sutherland is in it.
Oh.
But that... Ooh, guess what the Rotten Tomatoes percentage is on this movie?
Let's see. I didn't see. The fact that it's notable, I'm going to go 13.
You are giving it too much credit by
Wow.
9%. It was at 4%.
Oof.
You're also right. It says here on Wikipedia that it is a sequel and remake to the 1990 film of the same name.
They were doing there was a lot of those happening at the time, and I don't think a single one. I can't think of a single one that's like, that's good. That was good.
I mean, they did it with The
Force
Thing.
Awakens?
It was a prequel. Yeah, The Force Awakens. The Thing was a prequel and a remake, basically.
Right.
Like, just do the sequel or do the remake.
Do you want to trick me? I don't understand what you want from me here.
It's like they don't want people to be upset and be like, you're changing it slightly, so they make it a sequel, but they still do the same fucking thing.
And then also don't want you to like Flatliners too. Flatliners, I think, has mild cult appreciation. It wasn't critically well received. It's it's not great. But so it's like, I haven't seen the first one and it's old, so I'm not going to. So you want it to kind of think it's a new movie. But what was the point of Flatliners 2017, Zach? What was the point?
I don't know. It's not like Halloween 2018 where, like, I don't know. People are chomping at the bit for Halloween movies.
Right. No
like,
idea.
Majority of those movies are bad, but people are still chomping at the bit for them.
Right. It's at least like something like Halloween is an easy enough repeatable formula. Even when it's bad, it's still got Michael Myers doing the Michael Myers thing, and that's worth $10 to me, you know? I'll go see that, whatever it is. But all right. I guess we should get into this episode, which we already have just by talking about Flatliners. We're talking about this episode. This is crazy.
We by the end of our show, we should do an actual tally of episodes that were knockoffs of or inspired by films.
Yes, fully.
And we'll have to come up with the rules because I mean we can't just be like, oh, it's a little like it. It has to have
right. I wonder do the blatant knockoffs and then the certainly inspired buys. I don't know if like it's a point total. Like this would be like
that's
a 10, whereas like the John Q episode is more like a 3 to the total.
Yeah. I feel like John Q episode is maybe a 5. I mean,
that was a bad example. Yeah.
This is why we're going to have to really dig into this.
Right.
I also had a thought while I was driving home from work today, because when I'm driving home from work, I think about really important things.
Mm-hmm.
And it hit me. Oh, you know what it was? I was listening on Spotify to Avril Lavigne's
"Oh Baby,
I'm With You."
Oh baby,
and I was thinking. I was listening to it and I'm like, I'm sure this was on an episode of Smallville, right?
Yeah.
It had to have been.
Yeah.
And so then I thought, oh, wait. The second mixtape, Talon Mix, I believe drops in season 5, which means we have to do our...
Oh, wow.
We have to look into that without spoiling the answers for ourselves.
Emily will have to do some research for me tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we'll figure it out. God, now I have I'm With You stuck. I'm with you.
Yeah, it's the damn cold night.
It's the most Canadian sounding, I think, of the Avril Lavigne tracks.
It was just pissing rain at nighttime on the way home. And I'm like, you know what?
Oh,
this is
great.
This is the track. This is what we're playing right now.
Oh, you put it on intentionally. That's great. That's great. I'm so happy 100%. For you.
You know, earlier in the day, a song had reminded me of Complicated, so I put that on. And then when I got back in the car, that was playing, and I'm like, no, this is more a damn cold night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's put on.
I was determinedly too cool for Avril Lavigne. How dare? That's not punk. How dare you? Because I was real cool. Was a big fan of the Weird Al Yankovic Complicated parody called Constipated. Guess what that was about?
Oh my gosh. I don't think I ever heard that one.
It's complicated, but it's about being constipated.
It basically explains itself right there, doesn't it?
Genius. What a treasure Weird Al is.
Oh man.
Okay, getting into this episode finally. In her dorm room, Lana is lying in bed and taps her feet against the wall nervously as she waits for her roommate Chloe to leave. She looks terrible here. That's she's diegetically she's supposed to look
right.
bad.
So let me ask you, did they just not put makeup on her, or did they put makeup to make her look even worse?
This is how dumb I am. I don't know. It's, I feel like any woman would be able to tell us immediately that's a lot of makeup or that's no makeup. It has to be a lot of makeup, right?
Yes, that's
and we're like, I don't know, television magic.
When I finally started, the first time I ever had a regular girlfriend where we were watching stuff together, like suddenly realized that there's a whole other way to watch TV that I wasn't utilizing. Like hairstyles, makeup, clothes apparently are something I just do not take note of while I'm watching. Like my brain just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And watching with a girlfriend, it would be like, oh my God, that hair. And I'm like, oh yeah, shit. Okay. You're right.
I can recognize dated stuff now when something looks really, really 2000s. Like, oh, that was 2000s.
Right. When Josh Jackson rolls into Urban Legend with 18 layers on.
Right.
Of baggy clothes. I definitely.
That was a reference to our Halloween episode and a discussion we had on our Urban Legend episode. None of you would know that because none of you listened to it.
You're missing out.
You're missing out. It's a pretty good one, actually. I don't think we felt great about it after we recorded it, but I listened to it back. It's pretty good.
I did too. Same thing. Yep. I think we're too hard on ourselves.
I think so too. I think the intro earlier was great. I think we're firing all our cylinders.
We'll see how that ages.
Finally, she gets up, takes out some money, and goes to the college cafeteria. She meets with a young med student, Lance, and his girlfriend, Allie, who prepare a kryptonite-based serum to inject her with in return for payment.
Did it say it was the cafeteria?
It says cafeteria here, even though I don't think that's correct.
I do believe it said that on the outside of the building, but it's not like the current cafeteria. It's like it seems like maybe the old one or something. Like it's an abandoned, right? Or is it just the cafeteria at night? I feel like on a college campus, that's still a hopping place. I don't know.
Everyone at Kansas U or at Met U just goes to bed.
Right. This is a city call. Like we're in the middle of a city, and there's like an abandoned old cafeteria building. Not sure what's going on here.
What's Manhattan real estate like? You can just have an abandoned cafeteria building. Like you got to utilize that space. So she hands Lance a wad of money. I was like, this is all of my savings. I'm like, damn, you have that much saved up. Ilana's incredible with money. I don't have that much saved up now.
Brian, she worked 5 jobs in high school.
While doing track, while being a cheerleader.
She's fucking Max Fisher from Rushmore.
So she tells Lance that she needs to be down longer to find them. And Lance finally agrees. Find them was in quotes. They strap her down to a table and inject her with the serum. She opens her eyes, and the wiki is doing the thing that it loves to do, where when they've flatlined, the text is in green, so I don't get confused.
This episode doesn't matter enough to take that time.
No. If we opened up the wiki page, we're of course reading directly from the Smallville wiki, smallville.fandom.com. If we just opened up the Smallville wiki for this episode and there just wasn't a synopsis for this one, I feel like we'd both be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
This would be the one.
I already forgot what happens in this episode.
We watched this a couple of days ago, and I don't have a lot. I think we're gonna speed run through this one because I have no comments. Her mom and dad are there. They tell her they love her and that they're there for her. Just as she goes to embrace them, she is hauled away. This is one of those episodes where I feel like we have an on-off switch whether Lana is worried about her parents being dead.
Right, yeah. This is on. We're on.
This is on. We
right
flicked it on. We won't hear about him again for years.
Do you think, were those the same actors? Because the dad looks different.
I also thought that. I actually leaned toward. It's been 5 years, probably closer to 6, with a pilot. Which, yeah, once you get to
if they are different actors, is that because it's a different acting skill to get just absolutely aced by a meteor than it is to have read dialogue?
Right.
The guy who played the dad the first time didn't have lines. I don't think he just stood there and just slam dunked on him.
Boom.
And this guy has lines.
Right. I mean, equally likely, right? Is like who was the guy who was Lana's parents? I don't fucking know. I don't have a list of who the guy who fucking played Lana's dad.
I didn't remember.
How do we find that guy? I don't know.
We'll find out in the Wikipedia at the end.
I'm sure they'll tell us. When she wakes up in convulsions, Lance tells her they almost lost her. Allie tells Lana that she's back among the living. Lana says she needs to go back now. Any more comments on this scene? Or are we moving on? Chloe is checking news stories and spots Professor Fine in a photo from Honduras. She calls Clark, who instantly arrives, but is hesitant to come in until he knows Lana is out. Chloe makes a comment here, something about Clark not generally respecting her privacy, which, pot, kettle. Is that true? What we're doing now? Yeah. But that said, Chloe and Lana are roommates. Lana and Clark have officially broken up, so Clark's a little awkward now.
That's a tough spot to be in if you're Chloe. I mean, have you ever been in a friend group where two of the friends started dating and then they break up, and then you're like, "What do we? What about?" I mean, that's the most unrealistic part of the show Friends, other than the fact that they live in those apartments. Is like Ross and Rachel broke up, and that friend group, it was a nasty breakup, and that friend group is still stuck together.
Right, because we're all series regulars.
Yes, exactly.
And Friends doesn't do what Smallville does, which is put a series regular just on a completely different storyline for for 2 whole seasons. Ross never. Imagine just. There are episodes where Ross has central storylines, but never is with the other friends because of the breakup.
I mean, they did that for about 6 episodes with The Office in season 3, right? Where Jim was in the other office. There. Of course. And then they brought him back together after that. So that was the closest you would ever get to something like that.
Right.
In a comedy.
That reminds me of people have talked. My brother and I have talked about in the past that Stamford arc of The Office. Jim is in Stamford, Connecticut. Remembering that being like an arc of the show. It's like 3 episodes. It's closer to 3 episodes.
Yeah, it feels like a lot longer.
Yeah,
it's like you're watching it.
It's Jim's in Stamford. There's an episode of Jim in Stamford, and then Jim's leaving Stamford. There's a
couple. I think he's officially gone for. I think it's like 6 episodes.
Got it. It's similarly. I remember just watching for R.I.P. Matthew Perry. By the way, we were.
I was going to say we should probably do it. We should probably take a minute on that.
Yeah,
because you and I are both huge fans of that show. It was very important to us, as it was everyone who was alive at the time. And he was like, he invented sarcasm for our generation. Like, he invented that way of talking, that kind of sarcasm. Like that was him.
Yeah. Yes. 100%.
His
100%.
comic timing and delivery was unmatched, and I still think is for that kind of line reading.
It's the titular friends were a little bit like your star sign for a while, right? You weren't a Libra or a Scorpio, you were a Monica, you were a Rachel. And anytime I got Chandler, it was a little like, ooh, look at me.
Right, yeah, I'm funny. I aspired so hard when I was whatever, like 10,
Right.
when that show was in its heyday. I was like aspirational, wanted to be Chandler. Like that was what I was going for. It's just he was very influential, that character. He's so fucking funny on that show.
100%, which is amazing that diegetically within the fiction of Friends, Chandler, the funny one, anytime he makes a joke, his best friends are like, fucking die.
Right. Right.
We hate you, Chandler.
Watch that without the laugh track, and it's just like he says something and then it's just a silence.
Very, very sad over that news. But I think I had a larger point about Friends, and then so I remember just catching episodes on in syndication. That's mostly how I watched Friends, was in syndication before that. And I remember there's the bit where Monica and Rachel and Chandler and Joey switch apartments, which I remember being an arc of the show. That's another one that's like 3 episodes max.
Right, yeah.
There's like an episode where that is the established norm, that they live in the other apartment. So it goes. Great couple episodes.
Oh yeah, I love those. That's fun.
Okay, so
welcome to our Friends podcast. Well, you know what? We're going to have a lot of digressions.
It was a 50-50 shot. 50-50
We're going to have a lot of digressions in this episode.
Because I don't have anything to talk about the episode.
No, otherwise you will flatline listening to this.
So Chloe reveals Lana has been out. Okay. Clark is hesitant to come into the room. Chloe's like, Lana's not here. Chloe reveals she's been out regularly with 2 med students, then brings Clark up to speed with her suspicion that Fine is still alive. They're interrupted when Lana and Allie arrive. Clark awkwardly slips out, and Lana tells Chloe that she's fine. Chloe is skeptical. Clark super speeds to Honduras, which is definitely just Stanley fucking Park.
Wait, hold on. We got to go back to the Chloe suspects that Fine's alive. It's a strong suspicion because she has a picture from like a newspaper in Honduras on her computer where Fine is like, Marsters is just doing like a Bigfoot where it's like literally just his head peeking out in the background, like
right
out of a bush. Like the supercomputer T1000 got caught in a photograph.
Oh goodness. It's the blurriest photo I think. No, like out of your 90s inkjet printer is what this photo looks like. Clark awkwardly slips out, and Lana tells Chloe she's fine. Chloe is skeptical. Clark super speeds to Honduras, Vancouver, and starts asking around. Clark doesn't speak Spanish, but he holds a photo up, just this blurry photo of fucking Spike from Buffy, and clearly like asking, like, have you seen this man? I'm trying to imagine a man who's not speaking my language coming up and just holding a picture up and like, what the fuck do you want me to? What are you asking me? I don't know. This photo's blurry. No, you were. How many people were you going to ask, Clark, before you're going to be like, this is dumb?
Did he just go? Did he know exactly which town to go to, or is he just going?
Yeah, right.
Just he's been to a lot of places before we see him there. Right.
We didn't see all the scenes before that. Clark's like, fuck. Oh, fuck.
There's a lot of people in Honduras.
let's see. He starts asking around and spots a boy with a carved wooden toy, the spaceship that Fine arrived in. Convenient. At the Talon, Martha holds a press conference, and all goes well. Lionel meets with her afterwards and gives her some information.
This is like a fucking presidential press conference.
Yeah, right.
There's flash bulbs going off. Like, there's 20 people there, all like talking over each other to get a question in to the state senator in Kansas.
Truly. I believe, and it's the most like inane, like blah blah blah. It says blah blah blah. Well, I'd love to debate blah 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 publicly.
Yeah.
Blah blah debate.
Front page.
Yeah. Let's see. Martha wants to know why he's helping her, and he demurs and offers to go with her to help her schmooze with the other senators. Martha warns him not to expect anything other than friendship, and he seemingly accepts that. Martha does straight up like, "You will never get this."
She puts a hammer down on him.
You will not fuck Mama K. You will not.
Yeah. Basically, that's what she says. He's like, hey, I can help you prep for that. She's like, yeah, okay, we're not going to do it, though.
I'm not putting out. Not doing it.
Ever. We're only ever going to be friends. And then he's like,
we will get haunted. We will get haunted. The ghost of my husband will crawl out of his grave.
And Lionel, like the girl from The Ring, it'll be fucking. And Lionel does the like, oh, that's fine thing. And clearly he's like, but maybe she'll change her mind someday.
But maybe she'll come around.
I'll just be the friend zone guy. I'll be the friend zone guy.
Lana goes to see Lance in the middle of an anatomy class and demands another quote-unquote treatment to see her parents. He demands even more money and says, and she says, no problem. I think he wants like $5,000, which... Once again, forget about college. To me now, which was like, okay, that's an unattainable thing for me. Though I guess she does have a plan. That is in the very next scene. Later, Lex is at his manor when he hears someone breaking in. And we have a clip.
Oh, and this is where before you play the clip, this is where he hears someone breaking in. He's in the hallway. So he just turns to the wall and like presses a button and a gun emerges from within the wall.
It always begs, how many secret guns do you have? Like
perfectly placed wall gun, Lex. Yeah. Love it.
I am not pro gun in general. I would say no on the gun thing. If I could have secret wall guns, I can't guarantee I would say no.
I would take the compartment, but then I'd put like a bottle of Yoo-Hoo in there or something. You know, like something
just an
ridiculous.
Emergency Kit Kat bar.
Yeah, exactly. Sandwich. Just something cool in there.
Just like you hear an intruder, you open up the wall compartment. And
you're like, fuck, I forgot I replaced it with Kit Kats.
Damn it.
I wish I had a gun right now.
This is what the liberals want.
Yeah.
Me just standing with a sandwich. Starting the clip.
I doubt Lex looks through his own mail. That's absurd. Yeah.
Wall gun.
There was no code or anything. He just like pushed the little, open the door.
Someone's rifling through his desk on the only Luther Mansion set that we have. Oh my God, it's Lana with a gun in her face. She doesn't look good.
My God, Lana, I had no idea it was you. I could have killed you. If you needed money, all you had to do was ask.
What is that picture?
Lex, I'm really sorry.
Man, that's a phenomenal point. Lex does seem to just have a picture of a creepy little girl.
I've never noticed that picture before.
Has that picture always been there? This is a standing set. Fuck this scene.
You're
I
acting
don't.
like a junkie
I
trying
don't.
to
This
find
was
an
the only clip that was
He
available.
got rid of the giant picture of Clark and he replaced it with
There's
the
this
creepy
guy.
little girl picture.
Lex's taste in art is very
created these
concerning to me.
chemicals.
So it is drugs.
No,
I mean,
it's not.
Lana, it is. I mean, okay, it's not what you think, but it is. It is drugs,
They
Lana.
kill you,
It is
and
absolutely.
then they
drugs.
bring you back. Lex, I died. I died and I came back. I'm telling the truth.
No one in this is like, you're fucking flatlining?
Not to the other side.
He's like,
Lana, you're flatlining?
Lana, I'm not an idiot. You're just telling me the plot of the movie Flatliners.
That it was beautiful.
What's really going on?
Yeah.
What is that little girl on his wall?
Show it again, you cowards.
No one understands the loss of a parent more than I do.
Okay. God.
All right.
Let's never miss an
Growing
opportunity
up
to
without a
creep
mother
on
and
her.
father.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's now on the
can't
couch
even
with
understand
Lana,
taking
getting
whatever
real
chance
close,
you
getting
get
that
to see.
real
Touching
close
her.
face time.
He's got his hand on hers.
You have to look
Oh,
at yourself.
yeah, move it closer.
Look at what you've become.
Fucking flatliner.
This is what I wanted for you.
You're a terrible knockoff of a okay movie.
I'm sorry.
An okay movie.
I wanted to see them so badly. And I'm just so alone.
It's okay. This is a dark thing because I'm not speaking from experience here. Lana's very, very young. And I'm not
Yes.
saying losing your parents at that age wouldn't be very formative, but like, how many memories do you really have here?
Right. Right. How old was she? Supposed to be like 4 or something? 3 or 4?
She's in a fairy princess costume, so like,
Right, yeah.
age for that to be age appropriate. You know what I mean? And I'm talking out my butt. And like, of course, that would be formative. Losing your parents.
No,
that
for
young.
sure. But I get what you're saying. It's like you were raised by Aunt Nell, right?
Right. Who has never been mentioned again.
I don't. You're right. Yeah. I don't know how many memories from when I was 3 I have.
Yeah, I
probably
so
had
little.
more when I was 18, but still.
Right. So let's see. Lex Lex is creeping on Lana, tells Lana they both need to let it go, and Lana agrees. When he goes to get her a blanket, she leaves with his car.
That's
This
more
is
than
not a good thing
$5,000.
to steal. Right. That's a
No.
lot of money, and it's not the move. It's not. They'll find Lex's car.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
They'll find his car. You got to take something else. Take his wall gun.
Right. Take the picture of the little girl. That's probably worth $5,000.
It's got to be worth something.
If you sell a car, that his Porsche or whatever, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's
It's
gonna
take some time.
that's gonna draw some attention too.
Right. Bad plan.
She literally is
Bad
just
plan.
like, here's his car keys to the guy. Right?
Right. This is-
Doesn't she pay with the car later?
Right. And here's
He's
anyway.
like,
here's the
let
crime.
me go. He's like, let me go make change for this. Go to the
Yeah.
ATM.
Anyway, you're complicit in crime now. Kill me, please. Clark goes into the jungle with the boy, who leads him to a large black charred mark where the spaceship was. Lex calls Chloe and wants to know where Lana is, and as she prepares to leave, she finds some books on near-death experiences and a piece of paper. She goes to the address and finds Lance's friend Allie, who is in bad shape and clearly into the near-death experience. Chloe threatens to go to the college authorities, but Allie starts gasping for breath and says, "Near-death experience. It's a compound. Meteor rock." She starts to cough up blood. She tells Chloe she doesn't want to die, but dies anyway. Great.
Despite what she requested just seconds prior.
Oh, fate is a cruel mistress, Zach.
I'm pretty sure it's that scene, or it might have been with Lex, but someone says that Lana isn't acting like herself.
That I believe that's later.
No, there's two.
Oh, there's two. Wow.
There's two, yeah.
1,000,000%. Wow.
Yeah.
Lana visits Lance, who is getting rid of the evidence since he heard that Allie is dead. He has the remainder of the drug, and Lana demands another injection and gives Lex's Porsche's payment. Lex arrives, and he and Lance get into a fight, while Lana grabs a vial of the drug and runs. Lex goes after her, but Lance stabs him in the back with a syringe and injects the drug. Lex collapses, and Lance flees. Green text time. Lex rolls over at the manor. Rex rolls over at the manor in front of the fireplace, and here's his mother Lillian playing the piano. This is like the third woman, I think, to play Lillian. I don't think. When he walks over to the piano, she fumbles over the piece she's playing. Lex states he must be dreaming, but she points out how he was dying the last time they met. She's upset that he ignored her advice back then. Either it's a very consistent near-death hallucination, or Lillian was very literally visiting Lex during the Christmas Lexmas episode.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I was going to say this proves that either he's having consistent hallucinations, or last time when he had a near-death experience, he was actually communicating with his dead mom in the afterlife.
Yeah, I think it's still fine. Lex certainly believes he was very much communicating with his dead mom.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, totally.
He argues that it wasn't a choice because of what happened. She asks him if he thinks the path he's chosen isn't going to hurt, then harshly tells him it will be more than he can even imagine. However, he's not the only one who will suffer now. She asks him to stay and avoid killing so many. That's kind of fun and fucked up.
Oh, I think that scene
dead.
is really good. I love his mom is like, hey, stay here with me because you're going to be a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's yanked back. That's dark. I like it. Chloe is there and gave him the second injection to revive him. However, he has no idea where Lana is.
Chloe could have saved a lot of lives if she just let that motherfucker die.
Yeah, right.
If she didn't bring Lex back.
Would have really saved the world from a lot of evil plans involving like moon real estate.
A lot of land grabs. So there is a great moment where Kristen Crook's Canadian accent comes out really bad when she says she borrowed Lex's Porsche. I borrowed it.
Kristen.
Don't let people know you're from Canada.
That's put a lot of work into people not knowing that.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Clark arrives and Chloe brings him up to speed, pointing out that Lana was seeking love from the only two people who would do so unconditionally, her parents. Chloe uses the computer to track Lana's ID card and where she is breaking into the campus infirmary. She gets a syringe and prepares to inject herself when Lance arrives and tosses her into a cart of glassware. He prepares to inject her and finish her off, but Clark knocks him away. She begs him for an injection, and Lance gets close enough with the green K syringe to inject a weakened Clark. Clark collapses, and Clark just dies here if he gets a fucking kryptonite injection. Are you kidding me?
He's done.
He also gets the flatline?
He does flatline.
He's just, I guess he does die, but So Clark collapses and Lance prepares. I don't think there's coming back from this. I don't think it flatlines you. I think it ends it. If I get a peanut butter injection, I'm fucked.
They have a real good explanation for it afterwards, Brian.
Of course. Clark collapses and Lance prepares to take an electric bone saw to Lana. She grabs a beaker.
That would be the most difficult thing to clean up after. You're not at home. Right. You're like in the cafeteria or whatever the fuck it is.
Just don't come in. Don't come in. Nothing weird.
I'm
Nothing
working
weird.
on something.
Yeah.
I'm masturbating. Don't come in.
I have IBS.
Clark's like, nice try.
Yeah. Walk me through your plan here, pal. Let's see. She grabs a beaker and smashes it into his face. He drops the saw and then falls on it. Oof.
It's one of the funniest deaths in the show.
I wish we had it.
He just falls on a saw. It's like mostly his doing.
There you go. Can't wait to see that in the In Memoriam this year. Lana goes to Clark, who is back in the Kent barn uninjured. We're in green text now. He opens the door to a bright light, and in steps Jonathan Kent. Jonathan tells
him for a full season.
You got it for the full. Do you think in the writers' room they're sitting there like, fuck, we're still paying John Schneider. We're still paying him. So we got to use him. What about a fucking Flatliners thing? Did they reverse backwards?
Yeah, they're like,
we need Flatlines, and we see him there.
We need Johnny K to appear to Clark and tell him that Lionel knows his secret. How do we make that happen?
Right.
Flatliners.
Right. There you go. If I were in charge of Smallville at the time, hear me out. We've paid John Schneider, so we have him. We have him for the season. Even after he's died. Put him in the background of the Talon. Just one time. Just one time.
Just like peek his head up from behind a chair.
Discreet enough. Don't call any attention to it in the episode. Have it something we gotta like freeze frame for. The internet would still be talking about it.
Call him up like to Vancouver to be like, oh, yeah, we need you for one shot. You're no lines. Shot. You're not even playing Johnny K. You're just in the background.
Please.
This kind of, so in this scene, I'm sure the wiki's about to explain this, but fuck it. Johnny K basically, his ghost tells Clark that Lionel knows his secret, which is information Clark does not have. So that seems to prove that these flatlining experiences are really having communes with the afterlife.
Right, a good point. Unless Clark deep down knows this, and it's simply manifesting his visions of Jonathan Kent.
So Clark kind of suspected, and then Johnny K appears to him in his mind, right?
Are there ghosts? Have there been real ghosts on Smallville?
That
Any
little girl
season 1,
wasn't.
2,
oh no, she wasn't actually a ghost. She was. She had powers. Yeah, I don't think ghosts have shown up yet.
Huh? What do you know? Okay. Let's Jonathan Kent. Jonathan tells him he must go back, and Clark tells him he's sorry. He knows Jonathan only died because Jor-El brought him back to life. Jonathan assumes he's not to blame, and he's proud of protecting Clark from Lionel Luthor. Jonathan reveals Lionel knows everything, and that Clark must go back to keep his mother and the whole world safe. Jonathan tells him to go and find his destiny to help others, then shoves him back to where Clark wakes up with Lana over him. Is this the last Johnny K appearance for the season? This would be the one, right?
No, I think he appears in the finale and tells Clark at the beginning of the finale and tells Clark to kill Lionel, but then we find out it's Professor Fine, if I remember correctly.
Got it. Clark returns home and calls for Martha. She comes down the stairs in a bright red dress, ready to leave for dinner. She is dressed like she's gonna fuck Lionel Luthor.
Right.
And Clark's
like, we're only going to be friends. So come pick me up and I'll be wearing some real sexy shit.
Yep. She senses something is wrong with Clark. He tries to explain and tell her what he just went through, but is interrupted by a knock. It's Lionel, with whom Martha will go out with, leaving Clark more worried. Martha tells him goodnight, and she and Lionel leave.
Johnny Glover kills it with only a couple lines.
Fucking good.
He comes in and he's like, you look amazing, doesn't she, Clark? And then she's like, good night, Clark. We'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk tomorrow. I'm gonna
fuck your mom, Clark.
And she leaves, and Lionel holds the door open for her, and then he pauses and looks at Clark and goes, good night. And then takes a 3-second pause and he goes, Clark. Good night, Clark.
Amazing.
Oh, it's so good.
It's
so good. Okay, so we have to talk about how Clark survived the kryptonite injection.
Right.
It is explained in a scene with Chloe that I'm sure we're about to go over. In one line of dialogue, just tossed off at the beginning of the scene. Dying must neutralize the kryptonite in your system. What?
What? The fuck does that mean, Chloe? The fuck does that mean?
Brian, if you get injected with peanut butter and die, then your body will not be allergic to peanut butter anymore right after you die. The peanut butter will disappear.
I think so, yeah.
I
think this is sound, and I think the only way to prove it is I have to inject myself with peanut butter now.
If you died...
My final word, Smallville made me do this!
If you died and I walked up to your corpse like a minute later and rubbed peanut butter on your arm, you would still have a reaction to it.
Right. But no, not according to this episode of Smallville, Zach, which is where I get all of my medical information.
That is so stupid.
You should have just said nothing. I probably wouldn't have thought about it if you just said nothing.
Exactly. It's essentially the writers like looking into the camera and going, fuck off.
What do you want me to say, Lex?
Yeah, just fuck off. It's late.
Well, y'all got to get home in time for 24. Nah, 2006 24 is already on the way out, I think.
It's waning.
Yeah. Okay, at the Daily Planet, Clark reveals 2007 is where I think it gets really bad. But at the Daily Planet, Clark reveals to Chloe that he didn't find anything on Fine, but he saw Jonathan, who warned him about Lionel's knowledge of his secret. Chloe reveals that Lionel was her source on the Honduras photos, and Clark wonders if he's playing them all. Lex is playing the same song that had been playing on the piano when Lana arrives to apologize, which Lex accepts. He reveals to her that he saw his mother, but lies about what she said. He said she was very proud of the man he was becoming. Lana replies that she should be. Later, Lana is at her dorm room going through her family photos when Clark arrives, and she gives him an explanation of sorts about how she's always felt alone, but now she won't allow herself to be so dependent. They part on good terms, and Clark assures her he just wants her to be happy. She replies that she will be.
I thought that was a really good scene, actually. I thought that was a good scene between the good performances. And that's where he says that you weren't yourself, which is the second one of the episode.
Right. Yeah, there's good stuff in this episode. It's bad.
No, it's not. It's the Flatliners thing is just kind of yawn.
Right.
But we get a few good scenes in there.
Yeah. Let's see. There's no music in this episode aside from that piano piece, which is always a shame. Always points off. No Lois this episode. Let's see here. Clark's phone number is listed as 555-0128. Neato burrito. Let's see. Allie has an Ankh on her door. The Ankh was an Egyptian hieroglyphic character that reads eternal life. Let's see here. Okay, under trivia, I have here that, yes, those were Lana Lang's same parents from the pilot.
Wow, all right, they came back. Excellent.
Let's see. Michaela Mann also plays Lisa Mason in Season 4's Forever. I'm not sure who that is.
You know what I love about our show? Is we could have Googled that before we did the episode and be like, were those the same parents? We wait until the end and find out with the audience.
Yes. We ask the questions and then we maybe find the answer if we remember later. If the wiki tells us. Could have just read this wiki ahead of time. Could have done it.
No. Absolutely not.
Let's see here. So Allie, that character, was on the show before as a different person. Chloe mentions Lana will be taking a one-way trip down the River Styx, which is a reference to the blah blah. Fuck you.
We know that.
That's not interesting. We know that. Let's see. That's about it. There's only one line here. They're like, "This is Flatliners," basically. They also try to say that this is similar to a thing that happens in the comic books. Fuck you, it's Flatliners.
No, it's Jesus H. So I did want to say this is not related to this episode, but it is related to Smallville. I've been listening to here and there to episodes of Talkville, which listeners of our show might have heard of. It's the second best Smallville podcast. So I listened to the episode. They recently did the episode where Alicia makes her first appearance.
Oh, wow.
And they spent almost the whole time talking about how they both had crushes on her and how great the chemistry was. Then I was listening to a more recent episode wherein they talked about how lackluster the new Indiana Jones movie was. And then Tom Welling started talking about how terrible The Fog is. They're just taking our material.
Are you just scooping her shit? Do you want to fucking fight? Do you think this is fucking okay? Now, sure, one might say there's not that much to talk about on our Smallville podcast. There's going to be some crossover. But I got to say, you're on dead fucking ice, gentlemen.
Yeah. You know what? Stay away from Dial of Destiny, okay? That's our territory.
That's our shit. That's our shit. If you're going to come for the throne, you got to go.
They had to have stolen it from us because it's inconceivable that two 20-something men would have also been attracted to the beautiful actress who played Alicia on the show.
No, that's our territory. We got it.
And it was great that Tom Welling was like, I did this movie called The Fog. Don't watch it. It's terrible. Like, do not. Like, a little late on that one, Tommy boy.
Little late, Tom. Little late,
Come
Tom.
on.
Can we get... How do we get Tom to only come talk about The Fog with us?
But I'm not rewatching it, Brian, even if he comes on the show.
I will never watch that movie ever again in my life. Ever again in my life. You know what we should do? Because the first one we did is a fucking mess because I was wasted. We should one Halloween do The Fog again, but not rewatch it. Just talk about it without rewatching it.
Oh my gosh. I would to rewatch that movie, I would have to be like the guy from Clockwork Orange, like in a chair with my eyes taped open. I did want to say there was a funny thing that they talked about on Talkville recently where Michael Rosenbaum was like, every episode he tells people to call in to their hotline and ask questions, but he always is also like, make sure they're short, just a few seconds. And this week, this last one, he was like, the longest one we got was like a minute. It was ridiculous. He's talking about us, Brian.
Oh, yeah.
He has to be talking about us.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was longer than a minute, by the way.
That's the thing. That's short. I mean, that was horseshit.
It was mostly
what we did. That was some horseshit tomfoolery.
It was mostly your brother talking about fucking draft day.
That was Brian got excited by the phone call technology he was able to do with via his recorder, and like we're gonna fuck around with that.
I do think I can call in with a question soon about the giant picture because they're coming up on the giant picture episode. How should I phrase the question? Like, hey, can you just give me like 10 minutes on this picture? Can you
hey, where did talk? Hi, first time, long time.
Yeah. What the hell?
I want to talk about the giant picture. Where do you think he got the giant picture?
What does he do with the giant picture? Did someone help him set that room up? Yeah. Who framed the giant picture?
Did he have to get a contractor to install the giant picture? I think
that's great. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'll do that.
Great. Great. Wonderful. I think it should just be a list of questions. I have a couple of questions in regards to the giant picture, and then just a short, brief. Do it. Make it like
I'll rattle it off really quick.
15 well-rehearsed seconds, I think. Because get this on the show. Get it on the show.
It has to. It has to be. I think if we ever do clip shows of this, we should do a clip show of just us talking about the giant picture, because we've done it a lot on our show. I
still have so much to say. Oh man, thank you for listening to the Talon Mix, everybody. We appreciate you. No, we missed one last week. Sorry about that. Shrug, it happens. Let's see here. We if you check out our the description of this episode, there's a link. We have a Patreon. Just if you happen to be like, how can I support these boys making good Smallville content with my money dollars? That's a place you could do that if you were so inclined. We have some bonus stuff. We're a little behind on bonus stuff. We'll get something up soon. Also, we appreciate reviews and star ratings and just maybe saying something nice about it on the internet. That's going to wrap it up for us. Zach, do you have a question for the Smallville gods?
Oh gosh, I didn't come up with one. I forgot that I do this every single fucking episode. Is my question gonna get on Talkville?
It has to. Good night, everybody.